Hi, friends. Hi, friends. You know who it is. It's your girl, Empress Danny, back with another episode of The Daily Grind. I say pouring you up hot cups of Joe, getting your day off to a bright and beautiful start. We are here to check in and get messages for the day ahead. God is so good. I am getting someone is an expert at clearing energy. Welcome in, Jane. Some of you, this is just realizing maybe in circumstances in your life, things are convoluted. I feel like you're getting better at bringing light, illumination, revealing what's necessary in order for things to heal. Hey, TK. Welcome in. Good to see y'all today. And I feel like I do get this energy. There's something significant about something being free. Somebody is getting something for free today. I don't know. Some of you could be getting a free read. It could be like free work. But I do feel like something today, something is free. And this feels like it is almost like surrendering, which is necessary at different points in life. Some of you could be giving away something for free. Um, but sometimes this is necessary where we have to let things go, right? These can be things that we want to keep. Um, I don't know why I'm getting the energy for somebody. This could be a scholarship. Welcome in, Shannon. Sometimes what a person has to do is like the ego is at play in a circumstance, and someone has to release or loose the chains that bind. And so I feel something of that nature is significant today. Anticipate receiving messages of some sort that come into play, and I feel like this is demonstrating of God's faithfulness to you, and is going to, yeah, here, Anita Baker, you bring me joy. So I feel like this is going to bring you joy. Grateful that you perhaps study the situation, circumstance, a person, a matter. It also feels like when you've contemplated, and that contemplation to some degree liberates you. It's like, ooh, I'm so glad I stopped and thought about that. Or, ooh, I'm so glad that I maybe took some time to what could be like look things over, to assess. You know, sometimes it's just like I'm grateful that I didn't move too fast or I wasn't too hasty concerning a person, place, or thing. There is alignment. It feels like, and look at this, y'all. I can't make this up. I can't make it up, right? In my best spiritual sage voice, I can't make it up. Welcome in, Truthful T. I'm grateful to see you. Stan Menkikova. Is that what that is? I don't know. But look at this. So where I stopped is here, open doors, right? It usually speaks to alignment for me. And where I split the deck is, what did I say? Freedom. Okay. So I do feel like things are lining up. For you again, this is like to have your freedom. Hey girl, what's up, Betty? Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hope that you guys are well. We're going to get our hot cup of Joe, right? Because Lord knows we need it, right? Lord knows we need it. I do feel like if there is some sense of anxiousness at the top of the day, you're being asked to slow things down a bit, okay? That's where I feel this energy is coming in. Some of you have been with me for a while, and you know I talk a lot about Dr. Roman Zanoni's teachings. And obviously he is much more than a psychologist, but I want to say that's one of his qualifications, his professional qualifications. But he has an acronym, STOP, that he teaches, and the letter S obviously stands for the stop, right? Just take a moment and be still, if you will. And then the second letter is to think, right? Take a moment, what could be, think things through. And then we observe, right? We take the time to observe the circumstance, not just from our own perspective, but see things perhaps from another person's perspective or point of view. And there, I just heard we apply pressure, right? That's not his acronym. Why am I not giving you all the answers? Because I encourage you to go to his page and take the course. Because if you're in a position where you have trouble doing that and you make rash decisions or you move too quickly, it would benefit you to heal. Okay. And there are opportunities for you to do that. So if you go to his Dr. Roman Zanoni, if you look at it, Roman, ROMANZANONI, right? If you go over to his page, he has or you can go to healingcourse.org. You can find more information about his program, and he even gives a certification at the end of the program. Why? Because when you heal yourselves, you then have the remedy to be able to impart and give that same healing to others. So I encourage you, as you see fit, slow down, right? Slow down, think about some things, be observant, right? And through that lens that you're offered, perhaps a broader or different point of view, then you're able to make the choices that have the most appropriate outcomes for you. Okay. It looks as though we are gaining clarity about sense of direction, right? The direction that things are going, seeing growth for perhaps the direction that we've chosen to go. I feel like that's the case. So that's where the slow down, and you'll recognize your growth. You will get insight as to perhaps what steps or step it is that you need to take next. So for some of you, just be mindful of that. If you feel like you don't have a sense of direction, sometimes that's the space in which we become frantic. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And sometimes you're just being asked from a spiritual standpoint. That's an invitation to honor God by just saying, you know what? If I don't know what to do, because my faith, my hope, and my trust is in you, I have absolutely no choice but to stop right here where my strength ends and allow yours to begin to carry me to the point where it is that I belong. And I do feel like, look, you brought the sunshine in my life. Okay. So you may be rocking with the clock sisters, right? Midday. But I definitely feel like healing, the sun reveals, it brings about truth, right? And the revelation therein gives you peace in your heart with knowing, right? There's joy in knowing, right? If I slow down, then the truth will be revealed to me. What was not known will be made known. What was not seen will become seen, right? We talked about that yesterday afternoon when we were talking about the Sphinx in Cairo. We were talking about the Sphinx being the gatekeeper between the seen and the unseen. And some of you are in a position now where you, perhaps because you stopped, right? Maybe it is at the gate. Maybe it's because when you went to do that Rubik's Cube, right? Couldn't quite figure it out, right? Had a little bit of tangles, right? But on the other side of your willingness to just take a moment, right, in the stillness, right, allow spirit to reveal, then that revelation brings about what? Change me, oh God, right? Maybe Tamala's coming in. It feels like wisdom, okay? So here's a neutral energy, which does feel as though, to me, something is being dissolved, okay? And this can be a blockage in your life, a barrier that has been at play in your situation or circumstance. Sometimes this is where you feel this dark cloud over your head. I do feel like somebody who maybe has been dealing with depression. You may find that today that's neutralized. I'm not dealing with that no more. Things are starting to straighten themselves out. Things are starting to come together in what feels like natural ways. So you're not having to, what could even be like fake it, right? You're not having to explore other opportunities or paths. You are looking at perhaps right where you stand and recognizing the change that can be had right there. Guys, thank you. Thank you, Triple T. You showing me so much love and I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you for being here, for viewing. If you've not given the channel a follow, well, this is a good time for you to do so, right? Obviously, speaking to you in some way. We're going to have 3 cards fall, right? We're going to take each of them, and it looks like today begins with water, fire, and then the end of the day we go into ether. And I literally just heard only God. So it does give me the impression, again, miracles, blessings. This is you having what could be like your own way of doing things and not talking about like your selfish way. This is knowing perhaps even the unique means by which God gave you to achieve outcomes. It's not like everybody else's. This is like when you speak, the things that you say, you may have a different point of view or perspective, right? A different lens through which you offer whatever it is that you have to offer. And some of you, this is where something comes in and you use your voice in just the way it is that it needed to be used. And it's undeniable. It diffuses. Again, if there was a blockage, if there was a misconception about who you are, about what it is that you do, just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not able. I just heard it's him and you. It's not the I, but the you and me. That's God's light that's literally shining through you. So I do feel some of you may be prompted to use your voice in some way. And this comes up in situations. Let's explain this a little bit more. Thank you guys for for grace, but I feel like there is an air of, sometimes this happens. I can say specifically in business, right? When you go to work and if you want that promotion or if you want the client, a lot of times what you will do is put on the face, right? It's necessary perhaps in order to gain the business. I know what they need to hear. I know what I need to say, right? Pitch perfect, right? I'll give that pitch because I understand what it takes in order to win you over or to win this over. But there comes a time in everyone's life where no matter what your pitch is, no matter what role it is that you play, right? No matter what it is that you do, maybe it is for a living. You could be a politician for all I care. There comes a time in a situation or a circumstance where things begin to move in a way where you are perceived in a certain way. Or there could be a perception that someone else, that you maybe have of something or someone else. I think about this when I think about, if you guys recall, when the U.S. was sending aid to that country overseas that is referred to as God's chosen people, even though most people know there's no truth in that, right? Most people play along and act like the country, that nation is God's chosen people. But most of us know, I'm just going to say, we are God's chosen people, okay? And so I say that because there comes a time in your life, maybe it is in school when the teacher's teaching, right? I'm going to yield to what could be your lesson. But then there comes a time where you say, I can't play that role anymore. And that's where you begin to see people decide to take a stance, right? It is your Cory Booker. It is the people that you have seen who, I can't just be silent. I can't just go along with this. I can't act like I don't know. And I feel like situations like that are at play today where there's a sensitivity and let me slow down. I don't want to be perceived as fake and I don't want to be fake just because I'm in this role or I'm playing a role. So it brings in a sensitivity that is understanding. And I do feel this energy of like, let your light so shine where your star quality shines through. And if there was a perception of inauthenticity, then when that perceived inauthenticity shows up, it is known I might play this role, but I'm spirit led. Spirit leads me. And this is the energy. I feel this is coming up, right? Oh no, Godzilla, right? Maybe so you're rocking with Godzilla, right? That young water lizard, right? But this Godzilla energy comes through. This lizard energy comes in because if you know anything about the reptilian nature of us all, right? We can act like we don't have it. We have this quality that our spirit knows when it's time to blend in, when it's time to transition, right? When perhaps a situation, this is something where maybe I'm going to fade in the background versus perhaps when it's time for, that could simply be the fact that I know I'm fading in the background. Maybe that comes to light. And so it's almost this energy that is like, I have to, what could be like, make some sort of a move because this is a background that I don't blend into, right? I can't camouflage or I can't hide this. I can't cover this up. So it inspires movement once you see the sun, once you see things for what they are, once you see perhaps someone for who they are or something for what it really is, right? That could be like, I thought this was a good job, right? But then I find out, right? That's her thing, right? But so then what does it do? Your spirit says, oh, if I see that's how they're being, if I see that's how they operate, well, then what am I going to do? I'm going to allow spirit to lead me to take whatever action it is that I need to take. And sometimes that's speaking, right? Which is why ether comes in at the end of the day. And ether can take on any form, right? Wood, metal, earth, right? Choose your element, right? It can take on air. It can take on whatever it is, fire, right? Oh, be careful, right? But it feels like ether energy comes in and this unique quality in you is realized because of the fact that it is expressed. And it feels as though, again, if there was some blockage, I also get the energy of being overshadowed. If you were being overshadowed or overlooked, and this this could be something else about you. Maybe it is the role that you play. Perhaps it is the way that you move, and something about that kept the real you or the true you or the authentic aspect of you from being seen or being known. I feel like your means by which the Spirit has you going about something today is in some way neutralizing that, and is showing perhaps even others, ooh, that was wisdom for you to go about that in that way. Ooh, that was wise of you to play what could be like you didn't know, right? That was wise of you to move about in such a manner as you did. And I feel like some of you, the spirit of wisdom is revealing itself and showing itself strong in your life today, because whatever it is, it feels as though it's putting out some sort of fire, right? I hear you're the one who can put out the fire. Thank you for the follow, Monizy. I appreciate that. The name Maurice could be significant. It came up in meditation for me. Thank you to those of you who are not following the channel. I hope that you would follow suit with Monizy, right? Monizy. So cheesy, right? And give the channel a follow if you haven't. Also, for those of you who get an opportunity once this live ends, go to the link in the bio. I give a lot more content on Patreon, both video content and written content, and I encourage you all to view it. Today is less about characters, less about people, and more about what feels like peace and contemplation. And when you contemplate, when you pray about a thing, when you pray about a person, when you pray about a situation, right, then a lot of times in the process, and even at the time that perhaps you are saying that prayer, at the time that you are in that period of contemplation, this can sometimes be when you're in a period of rest. I know I had a whole lot of pain yesterday that I was experiencing. And I find too, a lot of times when you're in a position where maybe it is physical healing, right? I'm sick, I got a cold, right? Whenever you're feeling that way, it's good for you to take a break, to take rest, right? You know, this is even from work, right? You need a vacation sometimes. Sometimes this is kind of like time away, if you will, space and time to contemplate, you know, what could be actions, moves. God, if you don't give me answers, right? I don't like how I feel about this. And the angst moves us to this position where there's separation. Some of you, this could be separation between you and another person. But during that space of separation, usually what happens is things either transpire. Look at that prosperity. See, prosperity, you already know. When I see you come in, I already know. I'll be like, here go goodness, here go mercy, and here come prosperity, right? Follow me all the days of my life. Oh my God. My heart smiles. Thank you for being here, my love. Is that Judy? Judy, is you? Judy, is you Judy-in, right? Welcome in, love. Appreciate you being here, boom. But when you're in that space of contemplation where there are some things that you're maybe like, I'm cool off of you, right? When you're in that position and you're willing to take that time, what usually happens is that there are some choices perhaps that you have to make. Usually the reason that we do that is because there could be some air of double-mindedness, or we could feel like we need to double back in our mind, right? I don't know about you, right? Well, one time I knew, which is why perhaps I opened that door, speaking of open doors, and then something caused me to cross back, to double back on my thought, right? To revisit the original thought because of the fact that I don't have peace. And whatever that is, usually transpires because the Holy Spirit wants to change our minds in those situations. Usually, if something has taken our peace, then the Holy Spirit can want to change our perception of that so that we have a solidified peace. Hold on, because I don't want you doubling back anymore. I don't want you rethinking this anymore. I don't want you to be in a position where you're questioning this situation or this person anymore. Either I want you to know once and for all, right? I want you to be good, right? Lay it to rest, be done with it, right? Completely, and heal, because you never should have thought that they would be good for you or this would be good for you. Or the Holy Spirit will have you give pause, because why are you questioning me when I tell you to do it? And again, not from a perspective of obedience, do what I tell you to do, but I'm getting you, this is what I'm using to get you why don't you see my love for you in this? Why don't you have peace? Why don't you accept the fact that I'm giving you rest, that I'm giving you a break? Why is that so difficult for you to ascertain in your mind? Change your mindset about the gifts that I give you. What I give you, I don't take away. If I gave it to you and it's a gift, I'm not going to double back on that. Not going to change my mind about the gift that I gave you, about the ways that I made for you. If I blessed you with this job or this position, keep going. There's a blessing in it. And it may be the preparation for what I have next. I'm only going to keep elevating you. So why do you fear being in a position where you're broken? As long as you continue listening to me, as long as you're taking that time to stop, to think, to contemplate, to look around and see my glory all over a thing, let that be all the peace you need in your heart to transcend those conflicting thoughts that come to jeopardize you of what it is that I have given you wisdom concerning. Because my mind is in you. That means this is a thing. When God's mind is in us, we don't think like everybody else. If we think like everybody else is thinking, then we have to question whether or not we're thinking with the mind of Christ. Why is that? Because the reality is that when being placed here on this earth, we each have been given a different assignment, right? This is different people. This is why some people, oh, they're not for you. Sometimes they're not for you because they're not your assignment. Sometimes they're not for them because they're not their assignment. And you have to be okay with that. This is why we don't tell other people who is for you, who is not for you. Because what God has for me is for me and me alone. It's not for everybody else. So we have to be okay with that and stop expecting validation from others when God has given us peace about what is or who is assigned to us. And we have to follow through on that, because on the other side of our willingness to do that is usually our healing, is usually our transition, is usually our blessing, is usually whatever it is that we need that's going to clear the issue. I just heard reasonable doubt in our minds. So I feel something comes in today, and it may be different. You may be put in a position where you're asked to see someone differently, to see something differently, where God gives you a peace and says, baby, I know about that last circumstance. I know that trauma that hurt you. I know it was difficult for you to get past. I know this seems perhaps it's almost like, are they playing games with my head? But that's not how I operate. I came that you might have life and that more abundantly. And when I made that promise to you, don't you for 1 minute think that I'm going to change my mind concerning that. I'm going to give you that abundant life. The only way that you could jeopardize that is if you don't choose it. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. There's some things coming in today where you simply have to know. If you don't know what is God, then today might be a little bit difficult for you, because the spirit of wisdom is going to come in and it's going to show you what is God. It's going to reveal to you the Christ mind. And it's going to show you, Spirit is going to lead you. I'm telling you, midday, something's going to come in and it feels like a fresh wind of anointing that simply moves over you and knows exactly what to do. Whether you're being asked to blend, right? Maybe it's a midday blend, or whether you're being asked, whether you're being told you've been blending long enough. No more blending in. It's time for you to step out. Why? Because you're maybe a chameleon. And this is an environment that you've been blending into for too long. I'm elevating you. I'm moving you to a higher place, to higher ground. And I'm asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to be different. I'm asking you to set the tone. You're a trendsetter, not a trend follower. Stop following the trend and be the trend. Instead of adapting to your environment, be the change agent that I created you to be. And cause your environment now to adapt to you. I don't align to what I see. What I see aligns to me. I walk by faith and not by sight. And some of you watch how you command the atmosphere to align, how you command your situation, your circumstances to line up with your inner man that has peace, that cannot be disturbed, that cannot be denied, because it has transcended the physical. I just heard into the supernatural. And I feel that power is upon you today. So some of you, again, this is because your mind is different. You think different. I have a friend that's a wizard. And boy, is he powerful. All he has to do is meditate on a thing, right? He don't need no work. He don't use no tools. You ain't going to hear him quoting the Bible. That thing is powerful and he knows it. But it's the truth that comes when you have this solidity in your mind. And that's what he's done. He is solidified in his mind what is and what is not. It's a very difficult skill. It's something that most of us are only trying to, a point most of us are trying to get to. When I say this, he don't have to pray. His being is his prayer. I know everybody don't understand that. But there's a confidence and an assurance that I have that comes a result of just being in the company of people like that. And so some of you, this might be a realization. You in the company of prophets, baby. You are in the company of prophets that are not scared. They are bold. They are articulate. They have peace and they have power. Power to speak life over you. Power to speak things into existence. Power to cause things that were not as though they were. And then they come into being. Their assurance and their certainty as it pertains to you cannot be denied. Because the boldness with which they perhaps give peace to you, the boldness with which they have a rest, a confidence about you, it does what? It transmutes your own pain into safe passage. And in that, it renews your own mind into this blessed assurance. Jesus is mine. This is real. Some of y'all, that's what's happening today. God is showing you what is real and what is fake. Who's phony? Who's fake? That's the type of people I hate. If you're real and you know it, clap your hands. If you're real and you know it, clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Maybe you're doing the Casper slide. Is it part 2? It's time to get funky, 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 funky. I don't know what you're doing. You might be dancing, but this could, like I said, in some way, I do get that there's a mindset shift or change. And I hope that you enjoy it because, baby, you different. And God got his hand on your life. He's not playing about you in any way, shape, or form. And I do feel like if there was any doubt in your mind about that, by the time this day is over, if you move by spirit, he's going to change it. I love y'all. That's the Daily Grind. I'm going to do the Spotify. If you're not with us on Spotify, hope you check us out there. Everything's linked on the Patreon. But I'll be right back, right? It'll be a little bit later. But if you haven't joined my group, mommy, join my crew, right? Every time she hear my name, she salute, right? If your status ain't hood, right? I ain't checking for you. Better be street if you looking at me. What does that mean, right? When you street, then what? You move by spirit, right? You think about it, right? Being street speaks to the unorganized or unorthodox path. It's not the paved way, even though most streets are paved, right? When you street, you don't follow the ordinary rules that the world has established. See, I realize that's deeper. Some people don't get that, right? They think unrefined, uncivilized, right? That's how God is. You can't put him in no box. You can't size him up. He doesn't fit. He has his own way. Y'all enjoy this. I'll be back later. If you haven't joined my group, join the Royal Crew. I send them messages before I come on live so that they know I'm about to come on in case they want to join. And I'm going to start having a copy of the live go to the group so that if any of you miss, you could also join in. They'll also be uploaded to Patreon. But I hope to see you all a little bit later. I love you. Bye for now.